Well, who's so you got you guys, and I would think Australia would be the strongest other Continental Cup team in Asia. Who all? You have 8 teams.
Yeah.
Who are the strong ones?
So us, Aussie, China, Iran's good.
Sneaky.
Iran's
Yeah.
good.
Sneaky. I know their ones team is good. I don't know if they're deep.
Their
I
two
haven't seen
teams,
them on the road at all.
yeah, they can't get visas anywhere. So they just play in Asia. I think if they could get visas anywhere and they could build a program around beach volleyball, they'd probably be a lot better. Obviously, they've got that indoor program, which is just, I think volleyball's just a massive sport there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Iran's always good.
Yeah, they get those good indoor players, breeding them from there.
Yeah.
Who else? We got Thailand.
Their ones are pretty sneaky too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indonesia.
They're solid.
Indonesia just won a
Indonesia.
futures event.
Okay.
And beat one of the Oz teams that's going to be there. It's been really interesting actually because there's been some Asian events leading up, like Tom and Jack, our other team that's going with us. They beat one of the top Aussie teams, Nicolaides and Karaha.
It's a good win.
Yeah.
'Cause they're playing really well right now.
So they beat them in an Asian tournament. We had an Asian tournament like not long ago, which was a lot of those teams that are going to kind of be there. So and even no one's going to be a walkthrough basically.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things where it's always hot.
Yep.
It's like there's more pressure. Obviously, like people either really grab that and play really well, or it goes the other way, and you've got this interesting dynamic with 2 teams. One team could have a shocking tournament, one team could have an amazing tournament. But yeah, Asia's been like, I think for the last 3 or 4 years, when you throw Qatar and China and Australia, like there's a lot of actually pretty good Asian champs now. Is not an easy tournament to win.
No, and I feel like not that it was any tournament's ever easy to win.
Yeah,
but it's significantly harder now, I think,
Yeah.
than it has been in recent memory.
for sure. When Sam and I were playing all of our Asian stuff, like we were a good Asian team. We would win a lot of Asian events. It was like the semis and finals that were the really tough games. Whereas like now it's like first round out of pools going to be tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who's Australia sending Nicolaitis Carricker, Paul and Chris? Or
That's the question. I don't think Chris. Maybe Chris is down as a reserve, but it
moment.
was.
okay,
He's been injured.
got it.
Yeah. He's been injured.
Yeah, it was a young guy, Jack.
Is that the one he played with in all the Australia futures?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those guys came out and won that Asian event as well,
Okay.
Jack and Paul. So I guess they have to make a decision between going with the young guy he's pretty freaky athletic.
Yeah.
So usual Australian breed, like 6'7", wiry, jumps pretty high.
It's hard.
Yeah, like obviously they get good level training there. So all the skills are pretty tidy. But then you've got McHugh, who's won a Continental Cup before.
He's
It's
been
a hard,
there. Yeah.
it's a hard one to pass up on. It's like he's been there, played a few Continental Cup finals, and actually gotten through. So be interesting. You can put whoever you want in. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So it's 8 total countries.
yep.
16 teams. Is it 2 pools of 4?
Just straight quarters, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
straight
just
quarters,
straight up
yeah.
quarters. So
Yeah.
if you lose, you're out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Phew.
This will be my 4th Continental Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like the Pablo Herrera of Continental Cups. No, it's my first ever one was with Kirk and Jace, and then
Okay.
the other 2 were like, I think one I was playing indoor, the other one I just kind of I definitely wasn't doing it kind of full time, and we got kind of thrown in. This for sure has been the one that's been the most well prepared for, with
Okay.
a coach, structure. Coming here is like, we trained with Andy and Miles today, trained with the Taylors the other day. Oh,
Yeah.
couldn't have asked for better training partners. So I think the lead-in out of any other time that I've been involved in, so I've been involved in, I guess, all of them since 2012, is definitely the best this time. Like last time we went, it was Sam and I, Alani and Tom, and we were Jace was just getting into the picture, but we were basically still travelling around with no coach, doing our own thing. Sam and I had a huge blow-up just before our first game. We lost to Indonesia.
Good timing.
Yeah, so it's like tensions. One thing I notice, like it's like the tension leading into these tournaments is just because it's like that it's just like this couple of days,
Sure.
that you have to play well for, and it's always on your mind.
Yeah.
And all the decisions you're making daily, it's always like, oh, well,
been an interesting dynamic because we're obviously over here training, and like with the Continental Cup, you're playing for your country. So like, you know, Tom and Jack, we're obviously wanting them to be as good as they can, but at the same time, you know, we're also competing for that one spot to actually, if we were to
God,
win,
what a freaking trip, dude.
yeah, if we were to win, like, you know, who's going to be that team that goes? So it's for sure like you're playing with some pretty interesting dynamics.
Yeah.
Emotions, you know, everyone's kind
How
of.
do you guys decide?
We don't decide.
Yeah.
I wish we did.
We're
No.
just 2-on-2 brawl.
Yeah,
Makes it out.
Cage match.
Yeah, we get locked in a hotel room. The first two that walk out go. It comes down to a decision between, I guess, Jason and the selection panel.
God,
But it's like
decision.
the other interesting dynamic in the whole situation is you've got the New Zealand Olympic Committee, which make the final call. So, Continental Cup, leading into it, the criteria of like who was going to get selected was based on some world ranking stuff and whatever, because neither of the two teams achieved the initial criteria.
Yeah.
It now comes down to a decision. But then NZOC, the New Zealand Olympic Committee, in order for so if we went through this tournament and won it, and then Jason and the board would present their team of who it would be to the NZ committee, and they would then make a decision of whether that team has proven, based on the results in the last 12 months probably, if they can compete with the top 16 teams in the world.
Okay.
So us losing 23-21 in the third and 16-14 in the third to these top 16 or 18 teams has been like, we've almost proved that. And then I guess on Jack and Tom's side, they had that really good win against Australia, who are not a top 16 team, but they've beaten top 16 teams. Right. So it's this weird thing that like they have to put in the application of what team they want to present to the New Zealand Olympic Committee the day after that tournament's finished. Then that decision will come in a day or two after that. So basically who they're presenting to NZOC has to be able to sell the best story. So they have to be able to go to NZOC and say, hey, either Ben or Brad, they've won this tournament and we think they can compete with teams at the Olympics. They just don't want you to go there and get blown out.
Right.
We think they can compete because of these results and how they've pushed these teams. Or on the other side, Jack and Tom, they beat a good team who beat some really good teams, and whatever, they've shown improvement from all of their tournaments and getting better and better results. And so it's a weird one. And obviously there's like this culture thing around playing together as your country.
Right.
And Jace has been really big on that. Let's go forth and create this really good culture between everybody. But at the same time, we're competing with and against each other, which is not an easy thing to navigate as athletes, because there's just ego involved. It's natural, you know, you want the best for yourself. Obviously, we're all good friends too. You know, we have a good time, and it's like you forget about that stuff for most of the time. But then when you get on court and you're training against each other, there's this thing of trying to prove to Jason, to people that are watching, like, hey, we're better than these guys. And same from them, you know. And I honestly think that probably both teams are confident in their own abilities. It's not like one team's like, oh, you know, it's pretty clear.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've got to win the tournament first.
Yeah. So it wouldn't, because that's fascinating. They wouldn't do a match.
I think
that's how Canada used to do it.
Yeah.
And it was just one match, which is
tough.
tough.
You used to do, like, has there ever been a time previously with the Continental Cups that you have had to do a match?
No, I don't think so. We were even talking to Andy Benesh this morning about it, and he was like, actually, he brought it up. He was just talking about the European stuff in Canada and the whole Continental Cup stuff. But he was saying it's super weird that you would play a match, because he's like, you imagine you have this team that's like just out of the top 16,
Right.
and then you have the second team that comes to the tournament with you, and then like the top team wins the first couple or whatever, and then it goes to this match, and like the playing field gets even when you're playing guys that you train with and play with and know you really well, you know. So I kind of understand that a little bit, and then like I agree with it in part, and then I also agree with the fact that like the Olympics is a incredibly high stress environment, and so is that match. So maybe that's a good precursor to like who can perform in that environment too. But other countries do it. We don't.
Every country's
It's
so
a bit different, everywhere.
Because do you remember the last European Continental Cup?
No,
Yeah.
I don't.
Was,
Switzerland and
so Switzerland, and the way Switzerland does it, and it was interesting because Switzerland wins the men, and they said the team with the most points goes, and so Marco Kradiger careers,
yeah.
and in one of the golden sets, they subbed Adrian out for Marco, so it's Marco and Mirko Gerson.
Yeah.
Win the golden set, advance to the next round. Kradiger and Florian are just playing out of their minds, and then the bid goes to Mirko and Adrian, and you could see like the soul leave Marco's body when he understood that like I just played the best volleyball of my career for someone else.
Yeah.
And it's that
brutal.
weird catch-22 because like they're your boys, it's your country, you just did something awesome, but you didn't get the reward.
Yeah.
And there's no money in Continental Cups.
Yeah.
Like you just here you go, Mirko. Here you go, Adrian.
Brutal, man.
As much as you would love to be that guy that's super happy for the other team, like we're humans, it's not possible.
Right.
You're going to be there's going to be part of you that's going to be happy about that, but I mean when you put like your whole life into something, and then in that case I remember thinking that was super brutal. It's like the reality of it is a lot different to what you want it to sort of how you want it to play out. And I remember a social media post actually from one of them, Marco or Flo or someone, just saying like, this is one of the craziest situations in my life. I played like my best volleyball ever. Kind of felt like it was me that secured the spot, and then it's not me who gets to go and represent.
Yeah.
Which is just, crazy. It is. A lot of gnarly, like, possibilities can come out of these Continental Cups for sure.
Yeah. And then on the flip side, you had the Dutch women. They win the bid, and then it was a one-off between Stam and Scone, and I think it was Kaiser and Meppelink.
Yeah.
Stam and Scone win the bid, and they were really young back then and still pretty raw, so they didn't do great in the Olympics, but it's just interesting. There's just like, it's a free-for-all. Like every country's just like, Canada's going to do this, and Switzerland's going to do that, and we're going to do this. Was it, what I would love to see, and this is what I think it would be so funny if France, after all this time and all the back and forth over what they're going to do with their wild card, if they're like, actually, we're going to put Gautier with Rotar. Because that's the team in the Continental Cup right now, because Crew's still hurt.
Crew must be injured, eh?
Yeah. And Gautier and Rotar, who I think would be a great team, they're balling out.
Yeah. They
At the
just
time
beat,
we're recording this, they're undefeated.
just beat Germany?
Yeah. In two.
How does, because obviously they get a host spot.
Yeah.
Do you know what's going on with that?
It's been, we have this like commentating group chat.
Yeah.
And we've been trying to figure it out. So this French newspaper did a story. And so it's based on 3 criteria. It's like results, ranking, but then there's the third criteria. It's just like also who we think is going to be our best representative. So at the end of the day, they just pick whoever they want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that there are certain parties who want Lanil and Bassero. He's got the indoor stars. There are certain parties who want Crew and Gautier because they've gone out. I think they've earned it on the court.
Yeah. And they've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
So,
And so I don't know. I have no idea. But I think it's coming out 17th. They're picking because they're waiting. Because if they, I mean, it would make their lives so much easier if France just wins the cup.
Yeah.
You get one team through that, and then you get your wild card.
Exactly.
They'd make their lives
That'd
way
be
easier.
perfect.
Yeah.
It's like the French girls, right? Like one of them went top 16 or top 18 or whatever. Yeah, it's like the reality of beach volleyball too is there's just so many awesome teams that miss out on the Olympics.
Yeah.
It's like, obviously in those countries where there's 2 that are in, and then like, the Brazilians and maybe some American teams and stuff, or American women for sure. Like, it's a lot of really good teams that just don't end up making it, unfortunately.
Especially, I mean, you look at the Brazilian women, and I think, Betsy and Julia still were in the top 17 via points, even though they only played 12 tournaments. But I think if the American women had played all the way around and kept going, probably would have had 5.
Yeah.
Brazil, I think, had 4.
Yeah.
And some of them stopped playing too. It's crazy how many good teams are just left out.
Yeah.
It's the way it is.
Yeah, definitely. Like even for the men, there's the US men.
Yeah.
There's guys that have qualified multiple times inside that top 18, but just don't get to go. That must be a pretty crushing feeling. I wonder what's worse. That's got to be worse.
Because Tri did it in 16 and during Tokyo, and then obviously you got to go to Tokyo. But I asked him this time, because if him and Kane would have kept playing, I think they probably would have ended up in the top 17, but not qualifying. I don't think they would have ever caught Chase and Miles with how they were playing.
Yeah.
But I asked him, what's tougher, being in the top 17, knowing you played good volleyball, not going, or the way we did it this year, where they kind of stopped and we're nowhere close? He goes, I'll take this year any day.
Yeah.
I don't even have to sweat it out.
Yeah.
They got us by like 2,000 points, wasn't even close. And he's like, there's nothing worse.
Yeah.
Because him and Hayden were, I think, 7 in the world.
Yeah.
In 16 when they missed out.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's hard, man.
Yeah, that was like when Try came out to New Zealand. I think it was like 2 or 3 years after that. It was he was playing with Hayden, and they were an awesome team. They started playing that really fun style.
Yep.
Like kind of before a lot of other teams that actually not necessarily the jump setting stuff, but there was a lot of kind of fast plays and Hayden was always a guy that I loved to watch. I actually played against him in a qualifier when I was like 18 or something with my brother. Him and Sean Scott back in the day.
Yeah, that's a good team.
Yeah, they were a good team. Yeah, but he's always been awesome to watch. He's such a good volleyball player.
Yeah, still, and he could go out there at 52.
Yeah,
and he'd chop it up with the best of them.
yeah, he would. Yeah.
Well, boys, great having you guys on the pod. Glad
Great
you
to
took the
be
time.
here.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Thanks for having us. Yeah, I definitely listen to this a lot. It's
Awesome.
cool.
Yeah, it's good to know.
Yeah, I love podcasts. I mean, it's just great that somebody's doing it and you guys are doing a great job of it. So yeah, a bunch of us back in New Zealand listen to it all the time. It's
Actually,
awesome.
it's funny because we get these weekly. This company that collects podcast stats, they just send us like where we are ranked in Germany, New Zealand, all over, and we're the #1 volleyball podcast in New Zealand. Who
Nice.
knew? We'll take it.
Yeah.
We got to pump the numbers. Let's get the boys on.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. We'll get some people watching.
Yeah, well, where can people follow you guys along your journey through Continental Cup, Olympics, World Tour, whatever?
Instagram. I actually post a little bit on TikTok as well every now and then, but
yeah, we could be better, I think, with probably sharing our stuff. It's a pretty I just feel like it's a bit of a Kiwi thing. We just kind of sort of do our thing and carry on, but I think we're trying to get a little bit better at it. But
every now and then we'll be like, we should be letting everyone know what we're up to because
it's tough because from a quality of life standpoint, you're doing it right, not being on social media all the time, and then from it's such a content-based sport, it's like, damn it.
It's like that decision of like, do you play the game? You know, like the social media game.
Yep.
And like some people grab it and go with it and do really, really well from it. We haven't, but but yeah, I guess like social media, I guess, Instagram and stuff would probably be the only. Hopefully, there's some live streams for Continental Cup in China.
Where do you know where that would be? If there is a stream?
I would say if there is, it'll be AVC, like the AVC YouTube or something like that.
Cool.
So if not, we'll see if we can get a tripod set up and stream it on Facebook or something. Because, obviously a pretty fun tournament to watch.
Because all the cups, Europe's the only one this weekend, right? And then I think it's Asia, South. I think everything else is on the same weekend when you guys are going.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, everyone getting their last.
Fun times ahead.
Surely they'll stream it. I know there was some of the
ABC.
games at the Europe games that weren't, eh?
Yeah, some of them didn't seem to be too happy about, which is fair, I guess. But China's usually pretty good at putting the streams up.
Right on.
So, yeah, hopefully.
All right. Hey, good luck out there.
Yeah.
Good luck to the girls as well. Who's the twos team for the girls?
Olivia McDonald and Danny Quigley.
Okay.
Yeah. Olivia's been playing for a number of years.
She filled in with Alice while Shauna was on the injured reserve, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Danny was like, started playing kind of when I did. She was like in the same kind of era as me and Sam, I guess.
Got it.
Played a lot. She's now had a family.
Okay.
And like, I guess, built a life outside of volleyball.
Okay.
But still has been back and forth.
Got that mom strength coming in. You can't break that.
She's always been a great player. She's always been a good player, and I think probably complements Liv pretty well too, because Liv's like super athletic and whatnot, and I think Danny's got some good touch and reads the game pretty well. So they're in for a good shot, I think.
Yeah,
like Alice and Shauna, obviously.
Them and China.
Yeah,
China's probably pretty strong.
China, one or two of their teams must have gone top, at least one of them, like top 16 or whatever.
Yeah, Shu and Shaw were. I mean, they're number 7, I think.
Yeah, and Aussie's not there for the women.
Okay.
Because the Kiwis beat them in the second round or whatever.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a big one for Alice and Shauna for sure.
Yeah, I mean that's what I don't know a ton about the Asian teams in general, but I figured Japan's always. I mean they're just so tiny.
Yeah.
But if it's windy, I will never count out a Japanese team.
Yeah. Oh, they got some skills for sure.
Yeah. So I think those would be the 3.
Yeah.
One of those 3 has to take it out, I would think.
Yeah, I think so.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right on.